Hi again. I'm going to be doing a two-part series about arthritis. Really, we could do a 15-part series about arthritis, but I'm going to be talking specifically about osteoarthritis, which is very different than rheumatoid or some of these other type of arthritis conditions. Osteoarthritis is this aging phenomena that happens, and in the last video I alluded to something called disc degeneration, which happens as a consequence of us aging. And you can see here's a healthy disc, and it's pretty vibrant. And here's one that's getting a little older and older and older. And you can just see less and less of the disc, right? What happens functionally with that is the space where the nerve lives starts to get narrowed and actually impinged when that disc goes away. But there's something in the world of the body that follows something called Wolff's Law. And what I mean by that is, when there is stress on the bone and the body is saying you need to be more stable, you need to be stronger, calcium will be deposited on that bone, and that creates kind of an enlargement of the bone, if you will. And what you're going to notice here is this is nice smooth bone, and this is pretty good, but you can start to see these little bony spicules here, correct? These little bony projections that are starting to develop because the body is pulling on it and trying to stabilize it as this disc thins, because it doesn't like this situation. And as these guys get bigger and bigger, these are called osteophytic bridges or osteophytes, and that is what osteoarthritis looks like. It's essentially bone overgrowth to try to stabilize because something else has broken down, in this case the thickness of the discs. And as that happens, these little bony spicules create some nasty problems for people, because now it's actually the space where the nerve lives, if you will, gets narrower and narrower, and we call that stenosis. You can think of it as in your home, if the plumbing, if there is calcification on inside of the plumbing, there's less and less water goes through. The same is true for the nerve. So that's why it's so important to keep your joints moving as well as you can, because movement creates and supports a happier joint complex. Lack of movement and no exercise tends to support this type of situation. And so my point here is that osteoarthritis takes years and years to develop, 20, 30, 40 years to develop. But you really know it's happening all along the way if you're paying attention to your body. It's when we ignore our body and our stiffness and do nothing about it that these problems happen. And this is where people need to have surgery. This is where people need to have bone taken away so that the nerve is not offended. And we're going to talk about stenosis in a video in just a few minutes, but just wanted to give you a perspective of what we are concerned about if people don't pay attention to the stiffness over time and arrest that condition that happens. So thank you very much.